Minnesota Fighting Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and head coach Kevin OConnell haven't been shy about basically hinting that this could be the last chance for several key Vikings, including quarterback JEROME Ezekiel Cousins. Kirk is going to be 35 in August, heading to the final year of his one-year extension that he signed last offseason. And all the overtures from Cousins' camp is like, hey, we'll take a little bit less if we can get guaranteed money 2024, 2025. Vikings reportedly were like, nah. We're going to play this thing out and see what happens. So all indications are that the Vikings are going to be in on a quarterback in this upcoming draft. And Kwesi and Kevin OConnell fed the local media jackals on Thursday, and they had some choice thoughts about the potential for drafting a quarterback. These quotes are via NFL.com about bringing in a quarterback. This is Kevin OConnell. We talk about that all the time. I don't know that there's one right answer, to be honest. This is Kwesi. Really good. Ideally, you probably would want to have a year to have the person in the building or something like that, but I don't think that, I don't know if that's necessary. Necessary or not, blah, 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 blah. Ideally, you would love to have that person in a role developing behind a great player like Kirk, but I don't think you ever sacrifice it being the right player, OConnell said. Regardless of the when, the where, the why, the how, you can't sacrifice that because you have to have ultra belief and connection on making that decision because it is such an important decision. But I will say, very excited about Kirk in year 2 in the system. It's been a while since Kirk's been able to say that he got to come back in the same system he ran previously with the same play caller. You'd have to go back to 2015, 2016 with Sean McVay when he was with the Washington football team. We got a great dialogue with him about ways we're going to look to fine-tune. What we did and grow and improve. That'll be a big part of 2023 for me, not only as a head coach, but play caller and our offensive staff. So the talk about bringing in a quarterback behind Kirk Cousins, even though, yes, they're very bullish on Kirk Cousins this year. Frankly, I think Kirk is going to have a great season this year and potentially enhance his free agency value. And how financially, it'll be tough to do, given that this would be his third franchise tag because Washington tagged him twice. But could this be a tag and trade situation? I don't know. But the main point here is drafting a quarterback this year, grooming him to be the guy next year, and that would probably necessitate taking a round 1 or a minimum day 2 quarterback and have him be the guy, and that would be the plan. I do think that with most of these quarterbacks in this draft, they would benefit from a redshirt season, whether it would be Anthony Richardson, Levis, Hooker, DTR, Jaron Hall, etc. I think Stroud and Bryce Young would be able to start right away. But, mechanics-wise, a lot of these guys have flaws. But that comes down to coaching. And I think a year sitting and learning a new offense, sitting and learning behind Kirk Cousins, who is a pro's pro. And, Kirk, for all the flack that Kirk gets, Kirk has been really good about imparting wisdom on the younger guys. Now, maybe he's not like a full-on hands-on mentor, but he's not going to phase guys out or see them as a threat like some other quarterbacks have done. And then finishing up, AdofoMensah and OConnell were tipping their hand Thursday, but the importance of finding their quarterback in the future was a point of emphasis on the wrong syllable. Quote, quarterback is the most important position in our sport, Adofo-Mensah said. Ultimately, Kevin and I, these aren't things you just kind of decide in the moment. You have to have plans. You have to have strategies. You have to have different ways of getting to that answer. We've had these conversations. They're ongoing. There's a lot of different avenues in terms of addressing that position. I wouldn't necessarily box us into just one. Again, we don't know what's the most important we do know it's the most important position in the sport, and we'll treat it with that kind of importance. So basically, a non-answer answer, right? But there is a relatively big 4 in this quarterback class. Yes, you could throw in Hendon Hooker in there as well, but all these guys, they do have drawbacks. Where Bryce Young, you're worried about his size and durability. Richardson, wild card. Levis has a high floor, high ceiling. Not high floor, low floor, high ceiling, and can be a turnover machine, but he played extremely well with NFL caliber coaching in 2021. CJ Stroud, to me, is the safest of all the pick. I've said that a bunch. And the rest of the class, Hooker, older, coming off of the ACL. DTR, I'm actually really warming up to DTR. I really am. Jaron Hall, the same way, except both these guys are, short-ish quarterbacks, in the 6'1" range. But Jaron Hall, Zach Wilson got all the hype for being that BYU quarterback with all arm talent. Jaron Hall can make all the throws. I think he's got a really good attitude about him. Tyson Bagent, if you want to throw a complete dart out there. Tanner McKee was in for a top 30 visit for the Vikings. So I think what Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell are doing is smart. They're keeping all doors open. Like, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that if the Vikings miss out on drafting their quarterback this year, then maybe they extend Kirk Cousins. I don't think that door is completely closed. But also, I mean, if the Vikings are in position to grab their guy, whether that be a 23, making a move up in the first round, trading down, and still getting your quarterback, I mean, you have to have an open mind. And I think it's pretty clear that Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, like, they're certainly doing their due diligence on the quarterbacks, and I think it's smart because, like Kwesi said, it not only is the most important position in football, it's the most important position in all of team sports, and the greatest competitive advantage is having your guy, and even larger bonus if he's on his rookie deal. So there you go. And was your thoughts our thoughts? Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi talk about potentially drafting a quarterback in this year's draft. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts and their thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.